What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, God, for giving us another opportunity. Thank y'all, the Rich Gang family. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Now, anybody who wants to join the Rich Gang family, man, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications, hit that like button, drop a comment down below where you are tuning in from, and just go ahead and let me know, what have y'all been thinking about the bangers recently that I have been dropping for y'all? Now, when it comes down to the breakdown of this first one, the point forward with over 100 badges, of course, I gotta go ahead and make this build under the small forward position. When it comes down to the height, I decided to go with 6'7". Now, you can change this based off of how you feel, but I'm telling you right now, this is definitely gonna be the best height, as well as the weight with 181 with a 7'1" wingspan. Now, from here, as we go into the breakdown of the build, please be sure to follow along with each and every individual stat that I do show y'all today. The only reason why I'm telling y'all this right now in the beginning of the video is because if you change any of the attributes, any of the physicals, and mainly the position, you're going to risk changing up the build name and getting a completely different build, and that is something that I do not want happening to y'all. So man, just be sure to go ahead and follow along, pause as we go as well if you need to, and just from there, as long as we get the same build name at the end, you can make your own adjustments to these builds, not only this one but all three. Now, as you can see, for the finishing end on this build, I'm going to end up with a total of 25 badges for the shooting, 24, and 28 for the playmaking. Now, when it comes down to the defensive end, we got to be pretty solid in this area as well. I'm not going to be bringing y'all a build that isn't going to have any defensive stats. So, I'm going to be able to get this build up to 22 badges and really consider adding the 11 extra badges that you're able to unlock, since now we are in season 7, and also the 4 from the rebirth or the college championship. Gonna make this build that much more even better all around. And even with this build, we're gonna be able to get the pro contact dunks, which in my opinion is a huge W, and the shooting is very solid as well. Now remember, if you do want to make any changes to any of these builds, you can definitely do so, but please just be sure to do it after we get the same build name together. Now, this is pretty much how I'm going to end off the point forward build. Honestly, we're going to be able to get over 100 badges, which makes this build even better in my opinion, but the takeovers that we're going to be able to unlock are the slashing, shot creating, playmaking, and the rare post scoring. So whichever one that you decide to go with, man, just be sure that it's all based off of your own preference and play style. For my liking, I would definitely have to say I'm going to go with the shot creating, ankle breaking shots takeover. Then from here, I'm also going to go ahead and throw in the post scoring takeover to be more unique, or you can go with the finishing moves for more contact dunks. Really up to you, but as you can see, we have created the point forward with the great comparisons of Scottie Pippen, Jaylen Brown, and RJ Barrett. Now, let's go ahead and get into the second build that I got lined up for y'all, aka the Kevin Durant build, the two-way slashing shot creator build at the height of 6'9" with the lockdown takeover, which is honestly going to make this build that much more toxic in my opinion. Now, if you have made it this far, man, I really appreciate y'all. I hope you are having a great start to your Monday, and on top of all that, man, just know I'm going to continue to drop these videos every single day. So if you are still here, man, you are going to want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button every single day between 2 and 4 p.m. I got y'all with daily uploads. Now, right now, I am fixing my schedule when it comes down to uploading, really trying to see what works best for y'all. So that is why I say between 2 and 4. But as soon as we get everything locked down, I promise you, everything is going to be at a steady pace for the schedule. Let's go ahead and get into this build. And as y'all can see, we're going to be making it at the height of 6'9". When it comes down to the weight, this is really optional, but I'm going to go with 190. And for the wingspan, I decided to go with 7'4" to be even more like KD or Kevin Durant. Now, same thing applies for this exact build. As we go along the attributes, just be sure that you're following with what I'm showing y'all. I'm bringing y'all today for this two-way slashing shot creator. So, for the finishing, we're going to be able to get up to 28 badges. Now for the shooting, 25, and right here, that's going to be perfect in my opinion. Now, once we do move on to the playmaking, you know this cannot be a Kevin Durant build without having anything into the playmaking. So I'm going to really focus on this part of the build, making sure that it's going to replicate his game as well and closely as we possibly can get. Now, from here, remember, these should all be based off of your own personal preference and your playstyle when it comes down to the breakdown of these builds. So for my liking, I'm going to go ahead and say as long as we're able to maintain around 20 and up badges for the playmaking, that's going to be solid. 24 in total when it comes down to what we're going to be looking like for the defensive end. And then finally, once we go ahead and wrap up the physicals, go with an 80 vertical, max out your speed, or you can go with the 78, 75 for the acceleration, and at least go with an 85 and up stamina for this build. Now, there are multiple ways to go about making this build, so if you want to change it, just know you definitely can go about it that way. But for my liking, I really have to say this is the best possible version, especially with the height of 6'9", really solid build. You're still going to be able to get some playmaking moves in. Same thing when it comes down to the defensive end, you're going to be able to hold your own against smaller guards. Now, let's check out the takeovers. We get the slashing, shot creating, lockdown defender, and the glass cleaning. So, whichever one that you decide to go with, just remember, this should all be based off of your own preference and what you feel comfortable with. So for my liking, just to be more like KD, you can go with pull-up precision takeover or the ankle breaking shots takeover. Secondly, I would really go ahead and consider extreme clamps. And as y'all can see, we have created together the two-way slashing shot creator build, and I'm liking the comparison of LeBron James. Now, we have one final build left over for y'all, and I'm telling you, I saved the best one for last when it comes down to the defensive end. So if you are still here watching, man, some of y'all have not hit that like button. So what I need y'all to do is go ahead and get at least 50 likes in this video, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, finally coming up at the small forward position as well, we are creating the rebounding wing build, and with a sharpshooting takeover, which makes this build that much more even better all around. So before we get any further into this video, again, man, I just want to go ahead and say thank you to the loyals who did make it to the end and the third and final build. Just know, as long as you are a part of the Rich Gang family, we're only going to continue to grow. We are about to hit 5,000 big supporters, and I just want to say thank y'all to those of you who have been here since day one. You deserve all the videos that I drop for y'all every single day, and I'm only going to continue to do just that for y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. We're going to go ahead and make it out of the small forward position. Once it comes down to the height, if you were paying attention, I'm going to go with 6'7". Now, for the weight, 181 is going to be perfect with a 7'1" wingspan. Then from here, all you really got to go ahead and do is make sure that as long as these stats and the physicals are equivalent, everything is going to carry over and allow you to get that build name with making your own adjustments. So as always, as long as you follow along with how I'm creating this build, I promise you everything is going to work out in your favor. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, when it comes down to the breakdown of this build, you really got to go ahead and be sure that when it comes down to the finishing end, you don't go too crazy, or else the build name is going to change to some type of slasher, and that is something that I do not want happening to y'all. But as you can see, when it comes down to what we're going to be looking like for a total badge count on the finishing, 26 here, 24 for the shooting, and honestly, I gotta say, that is a very solid mark to work around, especially in my opinion, if you were to consider the way that you're going to be able to use this build in certain game modes really changes how people are going to be playing you. Now, what do I mean by that? What I'm trying to say, this is easily one of the most versatile builds in all of 2K. You have the playmaking down, the shooting is definitely a threat, then you do get the pro contact dunks, and then to wrap it up, you're going to be able to play some really elite defense. Now, on top of all this, consider running with teammates that are going to have floor general and defensive leader, easily a +4 to all of these stats, but also consider what this build is going to be looking like once you add your own boost, which is a +8 in total, including with running with the correct teammates. Then from there, adding the takeover, y'all, that's a +10 to whichever takeover you pick to that area of the build. And as you can see right here, 26 total defensive badges. When it comes down to the playmaking, we get 24. Same thing for the shooting, and a 26 badge count for the finishing. Now, for the physicals, go with at least a 70 vertical, As for the stamina, I'm going to go somewhere around the 90s range or the 80s. Then finally, I'm going to go with the speed of 82, 78 acceleration, and this is essentially what the build is going to be looking like. Honestly, easily a perfect 100 badge count, but then add the extra 11, and that is 111 badges on this build. Now, if you wanted to, like I said, you can make this build multiple ways and different versions of it, but the way that I'm bringing it to y'all today is easily going to be the most well-rounded and well-built. Now, once it comes down to the takeovers, we get the slashing, shot creating, sharpshooting, and of course, you know I can't leave this one out, the rare playmaking on this kind of build. So, whichever one you decide to go with, make sure it's all based on your own preference. For my liking, I'm going to have to say the spotted precision is going to work out best for this build. Secondly, ankle breaking shots take over. And as y'all can see, we have created the rebounding wing build. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications. Hit that like button. And be sure to drop a comment down below when complete. But man, I just want y'all to know, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. And man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank God and Rich out.